Ooh, this one's a little bit saucy. Well, it is a little bit saucy. It's not super saucy, but it's a little bit. And it's another topic where I'm late to the party. So I do apologize if this is talking about old news. This was posted on the 2nd, and I'm recording today on the 21st. This video is probably not going to go live for a few days anyways. I am definitely late to the party, but it's interesting news, and you may not have heard about it. So I'm going to tell you and talk to you. Rainbow Six Siege. It's a fantastic game. I really enjoy it. I don't play it anywhere near as much as I should do, really. In terms of modern day games, I feel it is the game that is most accurate to what COD 4 felt like, and COD 4 was my game. As you can see, my trophy up there, it was my game. And Siege really does feel like it replicates that, but it's a different style of gameplay. The controls and everything feels so much like COD 4, so much more even than like Black Ops and stuff. Okay, it just feels like COD 4, which is great. But the style of gameplay, the bomb stuff, and the time that you've got like 5 minutes around. I feel like I've only got a minute and a half, so I run it and die super quick, and I've got to wait fucking ages until the next round starts. Ugh. Anyway, they are doing an update, and it's all about aesthetic changes in Y3S4, which I guess is Year 3, Season 4. Here is the dev blog. The reasons why they want to do it is they want a single global version, which completely makes sense. If you need to do aesthetic changes because you're launching into a new territory, having 2 different versions at the same time is just going to be a pain because each of them has to be updated, and it just creates a lot of room for error and things to go wrong. Plus, you need to have more support for it, whereas if you're working on one version of the game, you don't have to worry about as much of that as well, you don't have to worry about that. You just need to maintain one version, which is so much easier. That's all they want to talk about there. So nothing in the game is changing. It's purely just the aesthetics. Now, the reason for this is in places like China, they have very strict rules about what visuals you can have in games. So, as an example, you're not allowed to show knives, you're not allowed to show skulls. And I guess that there was no before or after on this one here, so I'm guessing that maybe this was like a skull or something like that. So because you can't show knives and skulls and stuff, they're changing the icons, which don't really change the game, but it gives us something fun to talk about. To be fair, personally, I prefer the hand for the melee rather than the knife, because in many games these days, you can get knives which are like abilities. Hand is much more like a melee. Even though if you're meleeing with a knife, you can melee without a knife. You can't melee without your hands. That's just how it is, unless you use a gun with a knife on the end of it. So these are the changes that they're doing for those 2 there. You got punchy hand instead of a knife. You got person with a cross instead of the skulls. Violence, skulls. They changed the artwork in the game as well. So instead of this skull here, put sunglasses and a mask on it to make it look more like a face. It's still really like a skull underneath there. They've just covered it up. And then gambling as well. You're not allowed to show gambling, which is a bit of a pain. So they've just taken the machines out. Part of me is like, to keep the busy aesthetic, they should have put something else there. But just taking it away is going to make it easier to play because it'll be easier to see people. Because it's easier to see someone in front of a straight red wall than it is to see someone in front of a slot machine. In my book, that's an improvement to gameplay, which is good, as long as it fits in within the map design of that location. If people are supposed to be trickier to see there because the entrance is, you know, a very open entrance, then they should have made it busier. But if it's not supposed to be that, and it's okay for it to be easy to see people in, then that's perfectly fine. And then you've got like blood as well. So you can't have blood just around the place in environments. And also a rule, far as I'm aware, you can't have bones as well. So like the skull things, you can't have bones. If something was to die, it can't decay over time and then leave bones on the floor. It would just need to disappear, and then there'd be like a bundle of something which you pick up and it says, here's your bones. And for me, I like blood in environments because I feel like blood is a way to let you know if you're in a danger zone. Because a lot of the time, level designers, if there's a spot which always gets like, you know, attacked and it's really busy for kills and whatnot, they'll put blood on the walls as a visual reference to you, the player, knowing that you are in a place which is quite hot for people getting killed in. So as long as this isn't that, I'm perfectly happy with that. Otherwise, they should replace the blood with like bullet holes or something like that to again, give you a visual reference of shit's gonna go down here. The last one is sexual content. You can't have sexual content if you're in some Asian countries. It's just frowned upon, okay? And this is something I'm deeply sorry for my Asian brothers. You don't get anywhere near as much sexual content than we get. So I'm sorry about that. But if you feel like you would need some more sexual content, Asian bros, DM me and I'll hook you up. What's that there? Is that, oh, that's her leg. You did have a stripper on a pole, with her leg kind of flashing on it. And now you've just got a hand doing that. I don't really know what this is supposed to mean. Is this some kind of stripper thing? Essentially, it's just somebody swearing. See, look, if I do it like that way, now it's just a swearing hand. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. So it's sneaky, because if you just look at it normally, it doesn't really look like anything. But now you can clearly see it's somebody swearing. Art guys, clever stuff. I don't know if swearing's allowed in like China and Asian countries and things like that. I don't know. Or somebody's getting ready to stick it. But that's not a stripper thing, that's something else. That's all the changes they've advertised in here. I'm guessing these are just examples. There's going to be more changes in the map. I bet in a game like Siege, there's going to be lots of blood on lots of walls. There's not going to probably be as many scantily clad women around the place, but there's going to be a lot of other things that needed to tidy up for the art. And it completely makes sense. Have one universal version of the game, but please show us more examples of what you've done, because it's fun to talk about. It's interesting. I hope to see that this one universal version and pushing out into wider territories is going to bring more players to the game and make it more popular, because it deserves it. They've been through a hell of a lot. They definitely do deserve it. They released the game. It wasn't doing too well. They spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hours building it up, getting it to a point where it can be the game it is today. Well done, guys. Good job. I'm going to jump in actually and have a couple of games. And yeah, see what it's like these days. Those little toy things as well are so fucking cute. Give them all to me now, please. So, just finished recording the video, looking through Twitter, not expecting to see stuff, just looking for random highlights and shit. And guess what? Ubisoft are reverting all of the aesthetic changes that I just talked to you about in this video. So it's completely irrelevant now. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, apparently they changed it because the community backlashed too much. Actually, let's see why they backlashed. Why did community backlash? And then at least we've got all sides of the pie. It just says, since then our community and players have raised concerns. So I presume maybe it was kind of because of the things I talked about in the video that was problems. Like the whole, with the slot machines, for example, maybe that wall, because it gave a gameplay change. I think one of the things that is a problem is that people often forget that even the tiniest change has a gameplay impacts. Like, for example, those cables there on the wall, those ones there, if I took them away, that has a gameplay impact, because now things will look different in the environment. Things will stand out more in the environment because that is gone. Now, because it's busier, it makes it harder to see things. These are things that people don't often think about all the time. So I expect that's the reason why. It doesn't exactly have details on the page saying the reasons why, but it just says community backlash and stuff. So I'm just gonna assume that what I said is the exact reasons why, because I'm a clever person and I know my stuff. That annoys me as well when people do videos of themselves with their phone and they look at the screen and not at the camera. I do apologise. It's such a big difference, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry that it turned out that it was all wrong, but fucking 20 hours late I was to the party. I was late to the party by 20 hours. At least I don't have to do a follow-up video saying how the whole video was wrong. I'm doing it in the video. See you in the next one! Ah!